Okay, so this is my evening. The video I posted the other day was well received. Thank you very much to everybody. And I read through a lot of the comments, and I decided to update some stuff because I think I wanted to make it better for the shows that I do in the future. So here's some more details. I put this little light here. I'm going to put another one on the other side. Just haven't had time yet. But here's a little light. Here's my RCX all Dave configured with all the color codes that I used to do when I used to do robots all the time. But here's the program. So I hit run and nothing happens until you hit this switch. And when you hit the switch, the lights start, alert sounds, the door goes up. So future state is that touch sensor is going to be out, either attached to some stanchions around the layout or somewhere else. So people can come along and press the button and no beeps that you got the backup beeps. Of course, during the show you won't be able to hear it because the RCX is pretty quiet in a loud room. But when you're here, it's perfectly fine. Here comes the 924, all lit up as it always was. I just replaced the batteries in that. Even the cockpit's lit up, but of course you can't see that with the bright lights on it. I'll worry about that when I get the interior lights all done. We got the little back, just because I could. Love Rob Hendricks. Thanks, Rob. Life lights. They're all over this layout. So then it stops. Again, none of this is censored except for the touch switch. What I've done is basically timing. And I put an extra couple seconds just to make sure that it gets to the designated spot. I've used clutch gears so it doesn't overstress, but it's set up so it will go to the definitive end of each run, and then put a couple extra milliseconds just to make sure, because sometimes it does pause the door and the ship carrier. And I don't want the door coming down halfway onto a 924 because that'll be a bit of a disaster. This happened before. So I try to make this thing as foolproof as possible. The more sensors you have, the less show ready it gets. So just timing everything seems to work out better for these static displays. When you're doing a robot competition, it's completely different. But when you're here and you want to walk away and leave it unattended, then timing is the way to go. But also, you don't want it running all the time. I found that out in one show. I had my little robotic arm running through the entire show all 3 days, and I came back. When I took it down, the plastic dust was overwhelming and the gears were all kind of ruined. And then the door comes down, flashy lights. And then that. And then it will not repeat until you press the button again. So, see what I mean about the door sticking? So the clutch gear is great. I don't want to overwork it, but I also don't want to underwork it. So you have to find a fine balance for the clutch gear. I replaced the motor too. I had this motor doing the door lifting and closing, and I've never liked this motor too much. I'm so used to the standard gray motor that came with the RCX. So I did a little bit of reworking, and that's what I'm using now. So anyway, there you go. I don't want to bore you with the whole second run, but I think this is pretty much show worthy. I just have to rewire. See this this thing here is just the wires coming out right here, so I have to wire it internally and get it over there so I can have another light on the other side. But I think this hangar bay, besides the interior detail where all the people are standing, because I took them all out when I rebuilt it and finishing lighting, this module is basically done. There's more. You can see where I put all the guys. And underneath that guy, that motor control there, that control panel there is where I hid the motor for the in and out for the ship. It was one plate higher than the rest of the floor, so I had to do something. But there you go. Hope you like it, and I will talk to you soon.